Before we jump in, Ari, I want to give you an opportunity to take these next, next minute or so to just introduce yourself and tell everyone in the group a little bit about who you are, what you do, and then we'll take it from there.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
So hi, as Monique said, I'm Ari. My full name's Ariane. I'm reconnecting to saying it out loud, the whole thing. And, and well, I'm in theory, I'm a mentor and a strategist. Those are the two words that keep coming up for me. I even had to write something for a publication today about me, and I was like, yeah, that's what I do. I love to mentor people, and I love to strategize on how to get you where you want to go in terms of your business, because I mainly focus in business, but like for all my clients, business is directly related to how we want to live.
Right.
So if your business is more successful, that means that you make more money, which means that you can, take the trip that you wanted to take or put your kid in the school that you wanted to. So it impacts all areas. And I do that mainly through helping you like blow up your brand, if we want to put it in those words, like visibility, strategy in terms of marketing, how to sell yourself. And, if you want to do a webinar or a challenge and run ads to it and build a beautiful brand outward facing that matches your inward, your inner heart. So that's what I do in a nutshell. But I'm also, been teaching yoga for 20 years. So just throw some of that in there.
A little bit of everything, right? And this wants me to ask the question. I think so many of us are so eager to define who we are. I know that I have had that challenge for many years, and you and I have been in masterminds where we are told, like, define yourself, right? And that's part of being a brand, right? But to get to the point, because I know that you have so many gifts and talents, and you can show up as almost anything, right? As a yoga instructor, as a teacher, as a mentor, as a marketer, as a creative person. I know that you show up in so many ways, that you're a multi-talented person. What helped you to get to this place today where I feel the confidence and kind of like the relaxation behind you just being okay saying, I'm a mentor and a strategist? How did you get to that point?
Oh my
What helped
God.
you?
Making a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean, like I like throw myself into situations like almost fearlessly and say like, okay, what could go wrong? Like whatever could go wrong will go wrong, and whatever will go right will go right. So I honestly truly believe that my jumping into things and figuring them out as I go along has helped me own my mistakes and also own positions and own my results. I'm not one of those people that will like sit and think about things too long, because then I'm excited about them. So I go very much upon my my gut.
Yes.
And so far it's worked out.
Yeah.
Like when I owned a yoga studio for a long time, for those of you who don't know. And as I was wanting to transition out of the studio, that's when I started doing the business mentoring, mainly for like holistic yoga teachers. And I was given this opportunity to purchase a trade show. It's called the Yoga Expo. And I was like, a trade show? Like, I know nothing about running like 1,000-person events and having to get, 300 vendors in a convention center, like nothing. I had maybe gone to a couple, but I didn't know anything about it. And within a week, I was the owner of the Yoga Expo Florida. I was like, well, I'll figure it out as I go. But second is also having people to guide you.
Right.
So that moment, I really leveraged upon my teachers. Like even as a yoga teacher, I always had my teacher.
Yeah.
And then when I got into this business and consulting, I always had somebody to ask, like whether it was my business coach at that moment or a trusted advisor. And I can't stress that enough, how beautiful it is to have somebody guide you, like how you guide people in their spirituality and in their their inner woo.
Yeah.
We all need that person.
Right.
And more in this world where there's so much noise, having somebody be like your lighthouse is, I think, really powerful.
Awesome. Yeah. So I heard a couple things there. The first one is our instinct, right? Really being able to get to a place where you feel your gut, your intuition telling you, this is what I need to say. This is where I need to go. This is how to define myself, and giving yourself the opportunity to really trust it, right? And that does prevent us from making mistakes over and over again, right? Because one of the most painful things that I've seen, not only in my own journey, but in my journey of coaching so many people, is why am I going back there again? Why am I making that mistake
Right.
again? And one of the ways that I see woo woo, probably the most important tool that we can use in seeing ourselves as woo-woo women is our instinct, right? Sometimes we don't need anything more than just our instinct. And that's really critical for us as women, because we're so intuitive naturally,
Yeah.
that we listen, to our instinct along our journey. So it sounds like that is one of your superpowers. And of course, having mentors and advisors, because we don't know it all. And it's so important to, stand on top of that mountain and see the bigger picture, and sometimes understand, where am I holding myself back, or where am I not seeing something that maybe
Yeah.
I haven't experienced yet, or I haven't explored, but someone else has along the way. So, with that in mind, and I've loved seeing your journey, right? And I'm always so excited when I see you in your authenticity, and see you, being completely self-actualized, which I feel you are, Ari, right? Like, you've been on that journey, you've been cracking at that, at that self that we're trying to always, like, bust the light through so we can have our aha moments. But I'd love for you to, like, share with us, and I know that there have been a lot of fierce moments, but if there's one moment, either recently or in the past, that you've reflected on, where you really feel like you were fierce, and in however you define that, and I'd love to hear how you do define being fierce. What is that fierce moment that you'd love to share with everyone today?
Um, trying to give birth.
Oh my gosh. I remember that time where you were like, oh, yes.
I like, as a good like yogi, holistic, essential oils, the whole shebang, I was like, I'm gonna have this baby naturally, and I'm not gonna do drugs. I had my doula, I had all the things. I had a baby, for those of you who don't know, almost to this day, 2 years ago. You and her were born on the same day, your little twinsies.
Birthday twinsies. Yes.
And I was like, all right, but then all sorts of like complications were happening. I almost like preeclampsia. So they were like, nope, she needs to come out early. I was like, well, she's still coming out naturally. So boom, the acupuncture like every day. And then they were like, okay, we have to induce you. And I was like, fine. And I was like, no drugs. So I was in induced labor for 20 hours.
Wow. Yep.
And like, that's not regular labor. Like, apparently the induction is like way more painful.
Yeah.
So I would say that was my biggest like come to God moment, because I was like fiercely determined. It didn't end up not happening. I had to have a C-section, whatever, all the things. But those 20 hours of my life were so excruciating, and also so like empowering for me, because I'm not the most disciplined person. Like, a lot of people, me, you're so organized. Like, it's very hard for me to stick to something, because I'm also creative.
Yeah.
So always like, okay, I'm bored, next thing. And that's been my whole life. Like, even when I was little, my mom would put me in like gymnastics class, and 3 weeks later I'd be like, I'm bored, next.
Yes.
So for me, that discipline, that's why I feel like I can't be an addict, because I'll be like, bored, next.
Yeah.
Is really, really hard for me. Like, even like meditating, like, is
Yes.
very hard for me. So the fact that I was able to concentrate and focus on one thing for 20 hours, I'm going to give myself a huge gold star. And then I just also finished a 9-day liver cleanse.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And that was really fun. Not. Eh, it was really tough. Like I
Yeah.
was complaining for 9 days.
Right.
I find the joy in this. I was like, no, I'm going to complain. And it was really like, yeah, like I had to see myself in the mirror and be like, what's really going on? Like, yes, you're attached to, eating the thing you want to eat and you can't. Because if you know me, Mo, when somebody
Yeah.
tells me you can't, what do?
Yeah.
I do the thing that I can't do.
Yeah. You prove it. You prove that you can.
So
Exactly.
that's really, really, really hard for me. Like those are the times where I see myself and I go into the fire and I needed my husband there every day of the cleanse. I needed my coach every day of the cleanse to be like, you can do this, you can do this. Because I was ready to quit every day.
Yeah.
And I even went to my friend's house. She's like, you're not a quitter. And I was like, I can't be.
You're not. You know what's interesting, Ari, is that, I know a little bit about your elements, right? Because you did your
Yeah.
flow chart, a few years back with me when we had our retreat. And your primary energy, and I love the story you're sharing because of this. Like it just proves to me that our natural voice and our natural instinct always shines, and your primary energy is the mother archetype. So I'm so not surprised that the fierce moment that you're so proud of, that you had such a strong value around and put yourself in the freaking fire. Like it's almost like you knew it was going to be difficult, and you wanted to prove to yourself that you could make it happen and be strong and be courageous and deal with the pain in order to do something that meant so much to you, right? And that was giving birth to your daughter. So as the mother archetype, I really love and honor, that example. And then the other one of your very strong elements is the element of fire, right? And so being able to, like, not only put yourself in the fire over and over again, to again go back to, this is a value of mine, and it's really important for me that I stick to my values. I may not be perfect, but when I know that I need to do something and fight for something, whether it's my liver or the birth of my daughter, you can count on me. And really what you're doing is counting on yourself, right? So it's almost like you're taking yourself to that next level of experience, of actualization. And so I'm curious what those moments of resiliency, of stick-to-itiveness, like, what does that do for you? Where does that take you? What is that next level? What have you seen that next level is for you because of those moments of you being fierce for yourself?
Such a great question. I, I go back to like the hero,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
The
And
Shiro.
because I feel
Yeah.
like I'm also a hero for other people.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
Like I'm such a
Right.
pro. Or like my husband like needs something, I'm like, I got you, I got you. Like any of my clients, like, oh, I don't here. Like I'm always the I got you. I'll solve all your problems. And I
The
remember one of my
strategist and the solution, the person who
right,
has the solution. Yeah.
and he was like, well, do you want to let people be their own heroes? But I was
Oh,
people hire me to be their hero, so that's
right.
fine. But then I'm like, well, can I let myself be the hero? Because I'm also like, you're gonna make me cry, Mo. I'm also like hard on myself, like in terms of like my achievements and like I never like give myself
Yes.
like, oh, you did really well.
Right.
Like
Pat yourself on the back. Yeah.
no, I'm like, why didn't this go like this? Like, why aren't people like, right? So, and that I think like is my driver, right? I have a big driver energy. So,
Yes.
but when I notice these times, and usually they tend not to be around business. I think I'm hard on myself around business, but
Yeah.
my mean boss. And But around these times that are more of that personal, like that's when I can allow myself to be like, you did a good job.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And that's so important, you know, and again, as women, my experience of women through my own journey, through women in my family who have been resilient and pivoted and just really fought for things, and all of the women that I've had such an honor to work with and for, we are hard on ourselves. And I think that's part of our hero's journey. I really do. In this time and age, you know, we are here to fight for what we believe in. We are here to prove people wrong, and mostly to be able to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, look at what you did for yourself. Look
Yeah.
at how you fought for yourself, you know? And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start these conversations, because it's important that we hear each other's stories and
Yeah.
that we realize that we're not alone, right? So that we can be those mentors and guides and just support system for each other as we keep rising, you know, to that next level. Um, so I love where you are in your journey right now and how you've gone back to your kind of your roots of what you're really good at, right? And you're good at a lot of things, I know, but you've always been such a great strategist for others, and you're so marketing savvy, and you're so, you know, awesome in teaching people like the tricks of how to get their you know, their brand out there and how they can like quickly scale, quickly get to seeing success in their business through, you know, digital tools, through this online world that we live in, which gives us the freedom as women, right? And so I know so many of us as women are wanting to build those virtual businesses, to use those techniques. But I want to again concentrate on you. You've made this shift recently back to supporting women in that way. What are you most proud of? I mean, I'm proud of your freaking Instagram pages and your reels. And I'm like, oh my God, if I could just be Ari for one day, I wonder what that would do for me and my business. But I want to know how you're patting yourself on the back by making this shift back to that core of your training, of what you're just solidly so amazing at and helping people with.
Um, that's a big question. Like, Mo, what am I answering?
I just want you to be proud of yourself. So what are you really
Yeah.
proud of yourself recently?
Um, Especially this year, and maybe it's like this word keeps coming up, um is showing up with focus. Like I'm
Mm,
proud of being focused.
yes.
It
Yes.
kind of goes back to the like it's been that word, like such like the
Right.
idea. I've been like sticking to my guns and being like, okay, no more new things. Like let's just
Hone in.
not even just, I'm removing that word.
Yes.
Let's hone in. And that's where I've been like seeing really great results. Like as of right now, the last 5 people that I got on the phone with to work with me, they've all enrolled in
Yeah.
my coaching and my marketing agency. That makes me feel really good. Like people want to collaborate with me. Like, I mean, it just, I feel like finally after trying, like,
Yes. Yes.
and I'm also working, I'm really proud of like the people who I'm working with because they're really making, they feel really happy. Like my
Yeah.
clients be happy. Not everybody, because I can't like guarantee you work with me and gonna make $1 million. Like, but for the most part, like all my clients have like lead generation. All my, like these certain things, like I have this checklist and I'm like, check, 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 great. And that makes me feel really good. And everything looks beautiful and it works seamlessly.
Yes.
So of like being able to apply
Yeah.
the things that I get to do for myself into the businesses of my clients,
Oh, I love it. Yeah. So seeing the results for others, I mean, that's what we're about, right? Is making sure that what we spend our time teaching our clients, whether it's spirituality or marketing or just understanding yourself so well that you can then go out there and shine without confusion, right? Owning who you are and your gifts and your talents, and then seeing other people's lives changed because of it. I love that, Ari, and I'm so happy to hear that that's happening in your business. I know that that makes me happy too, when my clients share like how they have changed,
Right.
because of it, and how their lives are changing and how proud of themselves they are. You bring up focus, and I think that's really something that, for many of the women in my life, it just so happens, and you'll resonate with this because you and I think, are creator star mechanics, right? Back from our
Hmm.
days in the
Hmm.
mastermind. So yes, and I call myself, and I've said this many times, a multi-passionate person. So I've got a million ideas. There's so many tools that I use that I love to use, and so many different ideas that I like to jump in and out of because it builds energy for me.
Yeah.
And part of, and so I attract those people as well, right? I
Right.
attract the women business owners who also have a lot of different passions, who want to use all of their talents. And yes, and right. And so the balance is, how do we honor that? How do we honor who we are and these passions, and be guided by those passions, but also stay long enough with one of those passions where you could hone in and focus and then really see, the results,
Yeah.
right? And that is part of the journey for multi-passionate women, ideators, creators, manifestors, generators in the language of human design, and and really working that habit. And it does take skill, and it does take practice. And I know that that's something that I'm still working on every single day. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I know so many women in this group are like us. And
Yeah.
it's so great to hear that, that when you do focus, you can really, begin to see the manifestation of specific goals and
Yeah.
getting to that next level.
Even to the fact that, like last month, I was invited to be the the arm or head arm, seeing this really weird head with an arm sticking out of it, of like TEDx Miami.
Wow.
Like when like I was nominated, I was like, me? But I was like, yeah, me. You guys
Yes.
come up. I can definitely help you guys market the event. Like,
Wow.
I did that for my event. And but when you said like also like something you're really proud of, like I was really proud of that because out of the thousand, I don't know how many in Miami, women marketers there are. And then I got invited to be like the marketing contributor for this organization called the Daily Drip. And I'm like one of 18, but I'm the marketer. And I was like,
Wow.
consistency,
Yes.
focus, it pays off. And
It
like
pays
I
off.
see that snowballing right into more speaking, like more ways that I'm going to be known as the.
Yes. So it opens the door for others to really like put you in a box that allows opportunities to really come your way. And if you've done the work and you are consistently patting yourself on the back, looking at yourself in the mirror and telling yourself, I know who I am, I know that I'm fierce, I know what I'm about, then you can accept when those gifts come your way and really lean into them with fierceness.
Okay.
So I know that we're kind of getting to we are at the end of our 30 minutes. However, I want to close with a couple of things, because, one of the things that is important to me in this group and with the people I work with is really understanding the importance of our flow, defining what our flow is, what that looks like for for each of us uniquely. And
Yeah.
we're all different, and I heard you mention in this conversation, I'm not great at meditating. And so that doesn't mean you're not spiritual. It doesn't mean, right? And so, Ari, I'd love for you to close by sharing with us, as a yogi, as a spiritual woman who I know leads her life in a very spiritual way, uniquely. What are those things that you do every day, as a mother, as a business owner, as a wife, as a community leader, all of these things, that you feel really have helped you on your journey, and that you're so consistent about, that they have helped you, get to where you are today?
Um, it's so hard because right now I'm like, I'm just trying to stay alive.
Yes.
Give me a break.
Permission to be real, right? Permission to not be perfect, right? Because we get into these habits and then we jump off of them time after time. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a 2-year-old who, like, last night she slept, but the night before last she decided
Right.
to wake up and like party like it was 1999 till 5. And I'm falling asleep at 5 in the morning in her crib
Yeah.
with her. Luckily I fit. Um, what do I do every day? Like, I'm just so grateful. Like that's
Mm.
and that's the only thing I honestly I can do. Like, I don't have time to sit and meditate. I don't have time to go to yoga class. Like, I work out twice a week with my trainer to just keep my body in one piece. I practice gratitude every day and I dance.
Yay!
Like, we listen to music every morning and I dance with my daughter in the kitchen like
Oh
crazy.
my God.
Like, that's my spiritual connection right now. And
Yeah.
honestly, you say as a yogi, like, I felt the furthest from my yoga practice that I ever have right now. And I'm totally okay with that. That doesn't mean that I don't like have my like Lakshmi that I'm like, you got me, Lakshmi. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But the physical yoga practice and the way that we know yoga as it is, like, I've personalized it so much to like just breath. And really, I see yoga as the science of transformation.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going through a transformation into the next iteration of myself and the way that I show up for my family, for myself. So that's I think what it is. It's also just being the witness, right, of
Yeah.
my growth.
Oh,
So
I love it. Thank you. There's so many jewels there. I think that we're so hard on ourselves sometimes with our daily habits, and we get to define what flow is for us. And because I work with the 5 elements, and I always tell people, you got to trust the timing of your life. We're not
yeah.
always going to be in a rise year, right? You're in a planting seeds year, and that means that you get to be very specific about where you focus your time and energy. And when we have young children, we do have to, our flow really means just flowing, right? And so even to have just a practice of gratitude, and they say, right, that being grateful is the best prayer there is. Just saying one thing we're grateful for a day is the best prayer that you could have, and that alone can set our day, into a beautiful pattern of success and just positive energy. And so being able to honor where we are in our life as women and not try to make it something that it just can't be is a way that we can love ourselves and be in that beautiful state of flow. So thank you for sharing that, because we are hard on ourselves. And the best thing that we can do as women is recognize with full awareness and consciousness, this is where I am right now. And if I could just breathe and, practice those simple, techniques, just breathe and gratitude and spend time with my daughter and dance, life is good. So hooray for that. Awesome. Oh my God. I want to take a moment and just I saw Ellie joining live, Christine joining live, Melissa joining live. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
And I want to thank all the women who are going to watch this, hopefully later today or at another time, and be inspired by it. I know I'm always inspired by it. And Ari, I'm grateful to you for being here. And I want you to know that, these fierce conversations are with women in this group. That may change later on. But for now, we have so many all of you are incredible. And I may not be able to have a conversation with each and every one of you, but I'm going to do my darndest. And so if you want to stay in touch with Ari, learn more about her and her business, you can find her here in Essentially Woo and just communicate with her. And if you have any questions for Ari, put them in the chat, and Ari can come back and just check the chat and communicate with each of you. And so Ari, any last few words you want to share before we wrap up today?
I dropped a link to the PDF that I referred to, the Aligned Business Checklist, for those of you guys who are, or you ladies who are entrepreneurs and are wanting to discover this journey of the online world and on and offline, right?
Yeah.
And no, I just wanted to say thank you for having me and for thinking of me. Can you come to my group and talk to my people?
Whenever you just say the word, I'm there.
At 3 minutes
Tomorrow?
ago. But no, thank you so much, Mo. I love you so much, and I miss you, and I want to see you in person and give you a big hug.
We'll do it. We'll do it soon. I love you too, sweetie. Thank you, and thank you all. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a fierce day. Ciao.